Man, great to be back. I have been off the horse for it's been a month and a half, man. You found some other loves in your life, and they came in and they took my spot. But as always, I have returned. The prodigal son has returned.
What loves are you referring to, by the way? I'm curious.
Oh, I think you know.
Which ones? You tell me.
What do you want? Do you want real names, last names,
Give
nicknames?
me real names. Yeah, let's hear them.
You got some new people. There's new Joes. There's some Joes in the.
Are you referring to like Jason's Angels?
Jesus Christ. If I hear that one more time, that corny ass whack
I didn't even
shit,
come up with it.
Oh my God. Man, if I posted that, my life would be over.
It's so funny.
So I don't know. You must have like a giant hog in your pants.
Dude.
Ryan, am I wrong?
Listen.
Am I wrong?
Listen.
Like, what is it?
I can't help it that I'm charismatic.
Do you ejaculate vanilla pudding or something?
And I literally, a lot of my friends.
Literally or figuratively?
I feel very comfortable around women. Okay?
Sure.
So I befriend a lot of women because I'm funny, I'm outgoing. I feel comfortable around women. When you meet new men, there's always like this low level threat of violence because if you don't know the guys, you don't know what they're like, But with women, I don't feel that.
Did Phil the Thrill step to you?
No, Phil the Thrill's great. But he's a good looking guy and
is he?
You hang around with people like that, you happen to have beautiful people that come around. So I've made some good friends. And, it's very PG. We're just friends, but it's really cool. Like, they are people that I actually genuinely think are very smart, intelligent, and it's not their fault that they're attractive.
I'm just breaking balls.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was a
obviously
controversial post. Somebody posted a picture of 3 girls called Jason's Angels, which is a Charlie's Angels reference, by the way, because one of them is a redhead, one of them was a brunette, and the other one was a blonde. So it kind of made sense, and it was a running joke. Jason's Angels, because they're 3 good friends of mine now that they've become. And so anyways, Natasha, my wife, I love you. You have nothing to worry about. It's just good fun. And you know me, I'm a big flirt. I love to flirt. I have good energy, but it's very innocent. And, but yeah, it definitely created some conversations. Joe's like, yeah, I've had like 6 people reach out to me.
I get the fallout, man. See, this is how I've always equated our relationship to this. Like, to me, it boils down to this one, if it call it a metaphor. But our relationship is you are a tornado, man. Like, you're a tornado. You are an absolute tornado going through a trailer park. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not a tornado.
Tell me I'm wrong. Just say, Joe, you're wrong. Just say, Joe, you're wrong.
Okay, you want to know the truth?
No.
Can I tell you the truth?
Well, I'm going to tell you
say the truth.
I'm going to tell you what my role is. Let me tell you what my role is.
Okay, you say your role, but I'm going to say, I'm going to explain my life philosophies.
My role is one guy with a broom. So you've got a tornado. You got about a 400-unit trailer park, and I'm one guy with a broom. So yeah, I do.
I'm dying right now.
Oh man! But
you're making me sound like I'm this wild stallion. I'm the furthest from it. First off,
you're a wild stallion.
I'm like
Jason.
the most straight edge guy. Have been my whole adult life. Well, you were busy, and listen, you've got some stories that can't even be told on air from your 20s and 30s. While you were doing that, I was taking high levels of risk. I was investing in careers early, having families early, doing all the right things so that we could be in a position where we can sit on a podcast. I'm at a point in my life now. I've taken enough risk and done enough things that, hey, my life is dope and I want to do dope shit, okay? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Whatever you're selling, man, I am just not buying.
What?
It's just because I love you.
Seriously?
I just love you. Seriously.
So,
I'm not buying.
Well, any advice for young people listening? Do the hard work earlier in life so that you can be in a position to enjoy your life when you get older. Don't start by enjoying your life before you've built anything, because then you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to catch up. So I got an earlier jump on things, and now I'm having a little bit more fun in my life, and that fun is very PG, and it's good. I've got family, I've got my kids, I do all my responsibilities. But if I'm out at a pool, it's guaranteed that I am going to attempt to become the mayor of that pool by getting to know everybody. Everybody's going to have nicknames. We're going to have some fun, and that's just the way it is.
Well, it's odd. It's funny because they've actually come up with a nickname for people in that stage of life. It's called midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis. It's called me being my authentic, spontaneous self.
And honestly, man, here's what I'll say. Like, and I just look at the last 4 years of our journey. Like, I don't think you and I have ever not answered phones, been on Zoom. Like, it's a 7-day-a-week grind. And so I think we're at the point now, man, like, honestly, sometimes that shit's needed. Sometimes you need to go in, decompress, have some fun, and just throw caution into the wind, man. So No, I'm just bugging you. Like
Tornado in a trailer park.
but no, that part is true.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let's wrap this segment up. Let's just turn this into like a PSA. Kids, it's your Uncle Joe speaking. Please have fun early in life so that you don't end up 40 years old with a gold chain trying to give out nicknames. Do the work. I'm just kidding, man.
Says the guy wearing a new jean jacket.
Well, these are timeless classics.
Right.
So
Right.
this is an Ironheart 14-ounce Type 3.
And just because I'm not ready for New Balance kicks yet, by the way, Joe just bought a beautiful pair of New Balance shoes.
I did.
But I'm not quite 40 yet, so I'm like, I'm not ready for that midlife. Like, I'm a dad.
But I will say your gray hair does say otherwise. So
Wow. And your
Here we
receding
go.
forehead.
Here we go.
Your receding
Here we
forehead.
go.
Yeah, you're like a
Here we go.
freaking tide that's gone out, my friend.
hey, man, you know what? Like I say I'm getting more distinguished with age, but I will say I'm in better shape now than I was when I was 40.
By the way, big accomplishment today. Joe Moretti. Joe Moretti did 4 pull-ups, not one.
Yeah,
he did 4.
4.
By the way, what, 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
2-3 months ago,
Couldn't do any.
Joe couldn't do one single pull-up. And he said, one of my goals is to be able to do how many pull-ups?
I have 18 months to do 12.
He wants to do 12. And he did 4 today, which is a huge milestone.
Thanks,
I'm
buddy.
really proud of you. And I was a little concerned because Joe had, the personal training thing going on. And then he decided, you know what, Jason, I'm going to change it up and I'm going to go to the gym. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is going to be a big mistake. Well, proud to say it's been, 2-3 months since he made that decision?
Yeah, 3 months.
3 months. Joe's been going to the gym regularly.
Anywhere
He's
from
pulled-
5 days, 6 days.
Ryan Zinger's been pulled into the gym. There's actually a whole crew of them that are working out together and keeping each other accountable. And I'm really proud of you. Ryan's looking incredible. The guy's getting back to
Yeah,
his...
he looked incredible in the beginning.
Yeah,
He's just,
I don't know. He looked like a guy that had potential.
he looks like a guy that used to be incredible.
Yeah, exactly. He looked like a guy that was a has-been, right? But
Yeah.
Ryan, his body's responding really well. He's looking good. His jawline's coming back. Like,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah. And I gotta
Ashley's a
say-
lucky lady.
And I gotta say, man, it's funny. I went on this fitness journey. We kind of you started it, and then sort of you talked to me a bit about it. Then I kind of did the CrossFit thing. Wasn't a fan, and then I remember it was on a podcast, and you were saying to me, you were like, you know what? Just tell me to stop chirping you, and I'll stop. I'll leave you alone. Just tell me. And I went, no, keep going. 1 week later, got my shit together. So I think I started a lot of this, and it's changed my life. It's changed my energy level, and I honestly think it's impacted my ability as a father. I'm calmer. I'm a lot more zen. It's made me a better friend, a better business partner, and I owe it to you, man, because this is something you started. Because usually it's me doing something and you being like, oh, that like sneakers and motorcycles, but this is something you got passionate about and shared it with me. So I love that we reciprocated that, and it's changed my life, man. So thank you.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks for saying that. And it just goes to the importance of having good brotherhood, right? Have people around you that, will hold you accountable, push you, and challenge you to be a better version of yourself. And I think that type of environment is really critical. And we've talked about this before, but who are you hanging out with? Who are the people that you're surrounding yourself with?
Yeah.
Your tribe is going to predict your future. So look around at the people that you're around. And that's a pretty good predictor of who you're going to be. There's a reason. And actually, I was talking to somebody who works in a facility where they help people through addiction. And people that go into these rehab facilities have a very high success rate while in the facilities because they're in an environment where there's no drugs. People are sober, right? There's support. And they said the reason a lot of people relapse from those environments is because they go back to the environments that got them there in the first place. And we talked about, how important it is to surround yourself with people on a similar path, people that really are trying to attempt to do the things that you're doing, how that will change who you are. And so, I would question people to look at the environments that they're in right now, the people that they're spending time with. Are these people giving you energy? Are they taking away energy from you? Are they lifting you up? Or are they holding you back from being the person you truly want to be? Are you just a follower following this group, or are you a leader within the group?
I agree, man. And it's funny. Like I listen to a lot of Daniel Pena, and the shock value is amazing. That's kind of what got me. But his messages are always, you are the derivative of the 5 people you hang out with. And so when I talk to people who are sort of newer agents, I would say, well, talk to me about the 5 agents that you hang out with, that you aspire to be. And it's always like, well, right? So, well, then how can you be any better? But the other thing I wanted to admit is, and it's kind of takes a bit of a step back, is I screwed up hard when I started going to the gym. I did something that I think is a rookie mistake, whether it's in the gym or whether it's in life. I screwed up bad. And I actually regret. I don't usually have regrets, but there's one thing I regret on this fitness journey. What do you think it is?
I know what it is.
What is it?
I know what it is. And this is something that actually I want you to reflect on too.
Oh, trust me. I've reflected.
Yeah. But you weren't specific in the goals you wrote down.
That's correct. I didn't.
You did what most people do, right? You did what most people do is it's like a safety net because they're like, oh, I don't want to be disappointed. So instead of being very specific and intentional of the goal that you wanted, you just said, well, I'm going to work out. And you kind of left it very broad, which is like telling the universe like, oh, I want to be successful, but you're not specific about what success looks like for you. And so the more specific you get with your vision and your goal, and if you write it down and you look at it and it's very detailed, the universe is actually more likely to provide you that because it's so clear what you want. But when it's like muffled, that's where I see a lot of people held back. There's a study that was done on this, and they basically polled people who had no goals, never wrote them down, and they looked at like what their average net worth was by a certain age. Then they looked at people that actually thought about goals, what their average net worth was, and then people that actually wrote down specifically what their goals were on paper in writing. And it was crazy. So the people that had no goals were 10 times less successful financially than the people who thought about their goals. And then the people who wrote down their specific goals were 30 times more successful than the people who thought about it.
I just want to take a sec. Producer Ryan, can you pop in my office and grab my phone and my wallet? Yeah, that'd be great. Because I want to talk about goal setting.
Yeah.
Because I think I did something in 2019 that changed my life with goals. It revolutionized me as a human being. And it's given me so much accomplishment. It's given me so much joy, pleasure, and it's really got me to the part. Thank you so much. It's really got me to the part where I know what I want. And I guess I kicked myself in the ass because I didn't do it with personal fitness. But what I did is I wrote a list. I wrote a list of the 300 things that I wanted from life. Just 300. That's it. Now, the funny thing is, it's an activity that takes, I would say, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Like, this is an activity of champions. I don't even know if you've ever done this before.
I've never written down 300 things.
300.
No.
Now, 300. Now, there's a psychological aspect to this. Your brain is capable of coming up with between 75 and 90. That is the length of the human brain. So if you're looking at this on a timeline, right? Like you've got item number 1 that you would like, item number 300. You are not even 1/3 in when you quit the activity. Anybody who starts this will be challenged at number 75. Now, what you get after number 75 is a lot of the time where the magic comes in. It forces you to start thinking long-term. It forces you to start thinking about the L word, legacy. What does life look like after I've satisfied my basic fundamentals? Now, when you write it down, you make it tangible. You can now put it out to the universe. The universe will only conspire to those who ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So this is designed to push you in ways you've never been pushed before. Now, when you write an item down, you make it so specific that if you read it out to a 4-year-old, they should be able to draw you a picture of what you're looking for. So if I was going to ask you, Jason, what kind of car do you want? If you could have any car, what would you have?
I don't even know. I'm not a car guy.
Okay, well, but I'm asking you.
I don't know.
But what do you want?
I can't even think of one.
That's going to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Ask me what I would want.
What kind of car do you want?
I want a 1955 Porsche Spyder. And on that Porsche Spyder, I want it to be silver. And on the front, I want the number 130 painted on it. And on the back, I want a white circle with the number 130 painted on it as well. I want red leather interior. On the 130 on the front, I want it to say the Little Prince in beautiful filigree writing. And on the back, underneath the 130, I want it to say the Little Bastard. I want silver rims on that. I want the car with a wood grain steering wheel. I want the car that James Dean died in. That's how specific. So for me, when I'm describing my dream car, I can see it, I can touch it, I can taste it, I can smell it. To me, that makes it real. It puts it in my head that there's the possibility one day I could get it. But what do you think I need to do to get it?
Well, you got to put in a plan.
Yeah, exactly. But the plan starts with me knowing what the hell success looks like. If I don't know what success looks like, I shouldn't be making a plan. And I'll tell you how specific these needs to be, how committed you need to be. You can go into my phone and you can pull up my 300 list because I read it every single day.
So you wrote this list in 2019.
2019.
How many have you crossed off that list?
I've crossed off over 10%.
10%?
10%.
So about 30?
10%. And here's the thing. You'll cross off nothing. You won't cross off one thing. You won't. Paige won't. Ryan won't. Nobody will. Unless you read that list every single day. Every single day. The first day you stop reading that list is the first day that you don't give a shit about 10% of the things that are on there and it didn't mean anything to you. Go back to living your ordinary life, please. But to me, that's not good enough because I can lose this. At the drop of a hat, my phone can be gone. So what I've done is I write them down. And in this little list, every time I grab my... Look how beat this thing is.
Let me see this list.
Every time I grab that debit card, I know what I'm doing. Every time that wallet goes in my pocket, I know what I'm doing. There's
not 300 things on this list.
There isn't. I mean, Christ, it'd be like 3 pages if I did that. But the point is, the things on that list that are the most impactful to me.
Listen to this. Can I read this?
Yeah.
This is very personal to Joe, but I love this, okay? And honestly, I think you've nailed this first one. So, you have not because you ask not. So that's really cool. I want Jen to be able to buy organic things at the grocery store without looking at the price. I think that's pretty cool, and I think you've done that. I want to be able to go away with Jen, kids, and not worry about how we will pay for it. I think you've done that. I want a motorcycle that I never have to sell. 2020 something, 22, 21, 20. A lowrider S, new set pipe, stage 1, 12-inch bars, fairing, speaks, and it is paid for. T-Sport. You own a bike that's paid for.
And it's that exact bike.
I want cars with warranty. You have cars with warranty.
Yep.
And I will, what does that say? It will sorry, it's cut out. What does that say?
Yeah,
the last
like I said,
bit?
it's been here for a while. Cars with warranty.
The last thing. What's the last thing?
It will tarry, but come at an appointed time.
So what I'm going to challenge you to do, my friend, is take your top 10 from the ones you haven't done yet, and I want you to write those and put them in your wallet. I want you to write them down and take your top 10 that you want to do next and put them in your wallet just like you did there, because everything that you wrote down there in 2019, you've done. Mm-hmm. So now it's time, okay, let's set some new goals. Let's take that, put it away, and add the next list. I've
got 270 that I read every day.
Yeah, let's write them down like you did those. Those were important goals to you, obviously.
They're very important goals, right? And you know, I know what it feels like to sit in a vehicle and have to make a phone call home saying that you don't know where a mortgage payment's going to come from. I know what that feels like in my heart, and that's why I show up and I do things like podcasts and coaching. That's why I run 2 companies, and that's why I put in the work that I do. That's why I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I do that because I know what it feels like to go down that path. So my commitment is, if I show up just a little bit more than somebody else, I can maybe prevent somebody else from going down that same path. So my challenge is, I hope that 2 people listening, I hope that only 2, just 2 people make your 300 list, please. And don't let your brain quit on you, and just commit to it for 1 year. Give it 1 year, and I guarantee you will accomplish things that you never thought were imaginable. Because when I came on this journey, Jason, I did something. I had a motorcycle, and I didn't know anything on my motorcycle. It was a beautiful bike. It was brand new. It had less than 4,000 kilometers on it, and I sold it because I went all in on you, on this opportunity, right? So if there's anybody else who's ever had that feeling that you've sold something that was just such a part of you, and you want to get that back, this is where you start. I started this when I sold my bike because I felt like I was like, oh man.
You ever had people in your life who you meet with, you tell them the vision, and they say to you, they look at you in the eye and they say, I'm in. They don't ask for all the details. They just look at you and they say, I'm in. Joe Moretti did that. Over 4 years ago, I sat down with you at Suco Thai, downtown Nanaimo on Commercial Street. And I remember telling you the vision of what we were going to build with Sims Coaching. I told you, hey, listen, I'm building this with or without you, but I don't want to build it without you. I want you to be part of this journey. I painted the picture for you. I let you know the foundation we had laid to it. I said, look, I don't have any guarantees for you. All I can tell you is I really think we can build something special. And you looked at me and you said, Jason, I'm in. And you committed so quickly that I honestly expected you the next day to call me and tell me that you changed your mind.
No.
I literally was expecting that phone call. I was like, there's no way. Normally when people commit this quickly, there's no way. Like they usually like, oh yeah, I made a mistake. They're all talk. No, not with you, man. And one of the things that I've learned is when you put your mind to something, you are all in. It's like all gas, no brakes. And I respect that a lot. I love the level of passion and loyalty that you put in behind people. And the fact that you trusted me enough with the vision and what we were doing, that was really cool.
Went all in, man. I love you. I love the team. I think that what we do, we change lives. And, even if I was just $2 above broke, I would still be in here, have the same enthusiasm. Because I go to sleep at night knowing that, man, you and I, we do good work.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. And, I missed the podcast, missed you. Hope some people got some value today.
Totally. I know. Write down some goals. I'll say one thing. Yeah, I'll end on this.
Please.
So I remember being so broke 8 years ago, Joe, that I had no idea how I was going to pay my bills. I had no idea how I was going to take care of a third kid on the way. It was really stressful. And I remember, and kudos to my wife, Natasha. She's a really good woman. She watched the movie The Secret, and she encouraged me to write out a check for we wrote out a check for $1 million, and we future dated for 2016. It's framed in my office.
My wife framed it.
Yeah, it's framed in my office. And this is tough, man, because I remember when you're talking about what it's like to not know how to pay your bills, I remember what that was like. And it was so difficult, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt like the weight of the world. One of the things I've always prided myself on as an adult is being a good provider, being able to take care of my family. And I'm an old school guy, and I take a lot of pride in that, And for the first time in my life, Joe, I didn't know how I was going to do that. And it was really humbling because I still had all my faculties. I still had everything. And I remember sitting there, and all I had, and this is a true story. I'm sitting at my parents' house. My dad looks at me, and there's nothing like an old man. And I talk about our dads, right? There's nothing like your dad, because your mom's always going to fluff it up and tell you, oh, it's okay, baby, right? Comfort you. Not your dad. Your dad's going to tell you the hard truth. Sometimes it's really painful in the moment, but really when you look back on it, you're like, damn, that guy was right. And he knew exactly what to say to get that chip on my shoulder that I needed. But I was sitting on my dad's couch, and he looked at me and he said, you know what, son? You have nothing to show for your whole adult life except for your kids. And he was right. I was minus $80,000 in the hole, not sure how I was going to pay my bills. And here it was my dad giving me a harsh reality check and being like, you know what? Basically, in his words, you're a loser, son. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Some people are like, that's harsh. I would never communicate to my kids. I'm like, no. I respect my dad and I love my dad because I know that what he was telling me is quit being a pussy. Go be something.
You needed it.
I needed it. He gave me a chip on my shoulder, and it's really, I never will forget that moment of being so low, Joe, that I am wow, my dad, this is how he views me. But it really motivated me. And I said to my dad, I said, you know what, Dad? I have one thing going for me. I have all my faculties and my experience. So 2 things. But I still have all my experience. I'm going all in. You're going to see a different guy. I never talked about it after that with him. I just went out there and I executed on my plan. And I told the world, the universe, I remember actually that summer I went and played a round of golf, a $20 twilight rate, because literally that's all I could scrape together on my credit card to go play a round of golf with my buddy Steve and Michael Richards, and they can attest to this. Flat broke, minus $80,000 in the hole. And I said, guys, I'm gonna build something massive, and I'm gonna become a multimillionaire, and I'm gonna change lives. I'm literally going to transform my family's life. I'm gonna transform so many people's lives. You watch, you guys. I am gonna bounce back so hard from this. This is a moment in time, and you guys can look back on this and watch what I do. I am not gonna sit here and be a victim, and I'm not gonna let this crush me. I'm gonna do something big. I'm going all in, fellas. I'm minus $80,000 in the hole. I have no reason to believe other than the faith that I had in myself and the fact that I was putting a plan in play. Well, sure enough, 2016, 2017 rolled around. My fortunes changed, right? I took the risk, and, we were in a position where we had a 7-figure net worth, Joe. Love it. Pretty cool, But so I do remember what it's like. And I actually think that it's one of the best things that ever happened to me was going through a rock bottom period, looking myself in the mirror and taking full accountability for where I was at, and then taking accountability for where I could be. And no longer did I play it safe. And I think this is a really big problem that a lot of people have, is the idea of going broke is so much scarier, and you build it up to be this big thing. And then when you actually go broke, you realize that you have a lot more in you. The human spirit does really well when actually faced with adversity, more so than when you're thinking about what the adversity could be like. Because when you're actually faced with it, it's like, well, I'm not going to allow myself to die. I'm not going to roll over. I'm going to push forwards, and I'm going to figure it out. And you get deeper. And I think sometimes when we rob that from people, we rob them of growth. We rob them of being the best version of themselves. And I can only speak from my perspective, but I really think the best thing you can do for your kids is allow them to go through some tough patches where they have to become resilient. I think, and again, I speak from a male perspective, but I think as a man, you can't become a man until you've actually gone through some adversity. You really need that. It'll help shape you and make you a better person going forwards. I really do think that that's helpful, because I honestly didn't feel like I really leaned in and became the man that I wanted to be until I'd actually been through something like that. Sometimes things come easy, and things had come pretty easy for me in my 20s, right? I was a bank manager at 22. I did pretty well from an upper middle class standpoint, but I needed to be humbled by the universe. I needed to feel that rock bottom. I needed to go through that in order to really appreciate it, so that I could come back and be a better version of myself. It was literally the universe giving me the biggest gift, wrapped up in a whole bunch of anxiety and stress and fear and all those things. But I'm so grateful, as opposed to looking at that and being like, woe is me. I was like, no, this is my fault. I'm here because of me, and I'm going to change it.
Love it, man.
Yeah. Love you, buddy.
I love you too, pal.
Yeah, seriously.
And there's the podcast.
There's the podcast.
Okay, we got to be in the 30s.
Write down some goals. Get intentional. Be very specific about what you want out of life, guys. It'll change it.
I think this is number 30. Yeah? This is number 30.
Number
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30.
Dirty 30 wasn't so dirty. So, I'll even go so far, and I think on this, maybe we can have our editor put in, we have info@simscoachingsystems.com. If you need help, if you are stuck, if this story resonated with you, if you just want to share your goals, I'd love to take a look. Because sometimes if you think you're sort of doing something and it's almost like a homework assignment, you almost push yourself to get it done. info@simscoachingsystems.com. We'll link it below. Reach out to us. We're here to help, right? This is what we do. We help people build businesses. We help people build sustainable businesses with structure and process and discipline. But we also help you believe in yourself.
100%.
We'll help you with your mindset, your confidence. Hit us up.
And listen, life isn't a highlight reel.
No.
It's not. What you see on Instagram, all these influencers, all these people that are doing incredible things, I guarantee you they have a story. You just don't know it yet.
You hear that? Jason's Angels. There is a story.
There's a story. Always don't assume the worst. Don't assume the best. Just ask questions. Be curious.
I think you're like an influencer now.
I don't know.
I see with that duck face stuff.
A couple people. Hey, I can't help it that I'm
strikingly good looking.
That I'm Zoolander.
You are.
I'm professionally good looking.
You are. You are.
I'm like, hey, listen. I've maximized my 7 out of 10 stature, my 6 out of 10. I've maximized it, Joe. Be honest.
Yeah.
Have you ever not had a really great time with me, other than when you walked out last week?
Oh shit, that's a whole other podcast. When I basically quit last week.
Joe quit last week.
Here I am though. I'm not talking about the podcast. I'm talking life in general. I quit.
Joe literally quit on me last week. Stay tuned for that episode, guys.
I told you to go fuck yourself and grab my laptop and walked out.
Yeah,
there you go.
He did. Stay tuned for the next podcast where you can find out why did Joe walk out last week and how did Jason push his button so hard.
And you'll also find out as to why Joe came back.
Yeah, there you go.
Love you, dog.
Love you too, man. Cheers.